How does Elsie's rifle stack up against the competition? Has Elsie redeemed herself in this matter? Let's find out in this video. All that being said, if you want to catch more educational Destiny 2 content, sci-fi content, and plenty more down the road, then be sure to always like, comment, and subscribe. Let's get straight into the video. Now, typically I would do a design section for all of my reviews, but since all Brave Arsenal weapons currently have the same design and aesthetic, I figured we'd skip that for now and move to the more important parts, that being performance and comparative stats. So, how does Elsie stack up? Well, basic stats wise, out of the box, we have impact sitting at 33, range 60, stability 55, handling 42, reload speed is at 60, aim assist 40, zoom 17, airborne effectiveness 24, RPM 340, magazine is 30, the reserves of course infinite, and recoil direction at 73. So how does that compare to other competitors in its respective high impact frame pulse rifle category? Well, for this comparison I'm using Relentless, Psy-Hermetic 5, the Messenger, and Philotactic Spiral. So before we jump into the stats or comparison, let's look at her perk selection. So perk wise, from the left to the right, we have Arrowhead Break, we have Chambered Compensator, Corkscrew Rifling, Extended Barrel, Fluted Barrel, Full Bore, Hammer Forge Rifling, Polygonal Rifling, Small Bore. In the second column we have Extended Mag, Alloy Mag, Appended Mag, Armor Piercing Rounds, High Caliber Rounds, Ricochet Rounds, Flared Magwell, and Light Mag. Third column we have Feeding Frenzy, Zen Moment, Repulsor Brace, Loose Change, Keep Away, Under Over, and Rewind Rounds. And lastly in the fourth column, Frenzy, Destabilizing Rounds, Kill Clip, Desperate Measures, Head Seeker, Desperado, and Adrenaline Junkie. And of course we have the Indomitability origin trait. And so now that we have all these in mind, how do the numbers compare when it comes to other respective pulse rifles? So impact wise across the board, we see that everything's the same. However, this is where things start to get juicy for Elsie's rifle. So the range is at 60, Relentless sits at 55, with the only two competitors, Psy-Hermetic and Messenger, coming out above just slightly. And then the Spiral sits at 58. But from here on out, Elsie's rifle does tend to take control in stability, handling, reload speed, and aim assistance, all of which are in the positive for Elsie, while everything else is in the negative. Zoom, however, Elsie just barely comes out below at 17, with everything else sitting at 18. But the airborne effectiveness, Elsie once again comes out on top at 24, with the rest sitting pretty far below. RPM is still the same, of course. Magazine size, the only competitor that was able to tie was with the Messenger. Everything else is somewhat falling behind. And then lastly, the recoil direction, Elsie, Psy-Hermetic, and Philotactic Spiral come out on top, with the Messenger and Relentless falling behind. So what can we say about this overall? Well, we can say that stat-wise, Elsie's rifle definitely stands up among the rest and can hold her own. And so I would say if you really want this rifle, I would definitely opt for one, since you have the opportunity to get one attuned with the stats you desire. Now, all that in mind, what can I truly say about Elsie thus far? Well, we looked at the perk pool, we've looked at the overall stats, and I'd say out of 5 in this category, I'd certainly give Elsie a solid 4.5 out of 5. Very strong stats, consistent across the board. You know, a few little losses here and there, but for the most part, I'd say it's a win. And the perk combinations, which we'll get into very soon, look very enticing, to say the least. So let's move on to the next chapter. Perk combinations. What are the juicy combinations for both PvE and PvP And how does the weapon stack up in both respective playlists? Well, let's kick things off with PvE. What is the god roll that you're looking for? Well, of course, this being a void pulse rifle, you're most certainly looking for something like destabilizing rounds and repulsor brace. Once you have that on your LT's rifle, you should be good to go as far as your PvE concerns are. PvP, there's a lot to consider, and I'll be very honest, the ones I'll show on screen, they're pretty consistent, but I have plenty of options to choose from. Now, granted, these can still work in PvE, but they just seem to work better in PvP in my experience and testing. So, kicking things off, my shiny one has Adrenaline Junkie, Rewind rounds, Ricochet rounds, and full bore. And then my non-shiny has Kill Clip and Under Over, Appended Mag, Chambered Compensator, which I'll be honest has been my go-to for PvP thus far. Under Over is a slept on perk. I feel that it has a lot of value and people just aren't using it enough. Highly recommend using it. And then next we have another shiny option with Desperado / Destabilizing Rounds, Feeding Frenzy / Under Over, Thread Magwell, and Chambered Compensator. Non-shiny I have Desperate Measures Under Over, which is another second option I love for PvP. Desperate Measures, a wonderful perk. Don't sleep on it. Next we have Head Seeker, Rewind Rounds, Alloy Mag, and that's about it. My Elsie pulls have not been as consistent as my other more notable options like Edge Transit and my Hung Jury, which look forward to that review very soon, by the way. But as far as those combinations are concerned, as I said, they're very much PvP centered, and I tend to play a lot of PvP anyway. But for the PvE fans out there, again, don't sleep on the ones I've mentioned, especially the likes of Desperate Measures. I really do feel that perk is really good as well. And again, Under Over, very strong perk. But if you really want that god roll, then definitely look for Destabilizing and Repulsor Brace on your respective LC's rifle. So, how does it stack in the likes of PvP? It stacks pretty well. I'd say that as far as the pulse rifle category is concerned, we already know Messenger is really strong, but LC does pack a pretty solid punch. And as I mentioned, with the perk combinations you have, you can really, truly do a devastating amount of damage if you play and master with this rifle. So in the end, perk combination wise, in my opinion, I gotta give Elsie's rifle a 5 out of 5. I feel that Elsie's rifle is a very solid pulse rifle in this season, and moving forward, it'll likely be at the top of the game above Messenger long term once players get a feel for it better and just kind of master their loadouts as well as the perk combinations. But for me, for sure, 5 out of 5. I love this pulse rifle a lot. It's very good. Just feels solid in the hands when I'm using it. And so again, if you're a PvP player, pick it up. If you're PvE, pick it up. It's a win-win in both categories. So that being said, let's move on to the last point. So without repeating myself too much in this video, we've gone over the perk combinations, we've gone over the perk performance and stats, and so my final thoughts on Elsie's rifle. Has she finally redeemed herself in this category? 100%, and I give this nice, solid, high-impact pulse rifle a 4.5 out of 5. I think overall, like I said, very consistent weapon. It is by far one of the better pulse rifles in the game right now, and it'll only get better with time as long as players continue to utilize it and take advantage of the new perks, combinations, and much more. So, all that being said, if you enjoyed today's content, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Look forward to more content like this on the channel. And as always, new warriors, stay strong, keep fighting, and may the force be with you all, always. Take care, and see you again soon. Peace.